femme.
C'est la reine que vous recherchez?
와! 이 알란드롱 도무지 이해를 못하겠다. 내 자막이 없어서.
Bonjour.
Hello and thanks for joining us today. Our French film picks of the moment with French film critic Perrine Quennesson. Hello Perrine, welcome.
Hey, hello, Yves.
Thank you for being here. Now, after a diptych about the Three Musketeers 2 years ago and a blockbuster box office smash with The Count of Monte Cristo last year, the Three Musketeers are back in the spotlight in 2025 with Houda Benyamina's new film Tout pour une, or All for One. Now, Perrine, yet another adaptation of the great French author Alexandre Dumas's work. Tell us more.
Yeah, it seems like this great 19th century French author is more popular than ever. And it's fair to say that The Three Musketeers is still as relevant and as enjoyable now as it was 200 years ago. Because it's a timeless tale about friendship, about struggle against authority, about honor. And this adaptation, Tout pour une, is the 36th film adaptation of this literary classic.
That's unbelievable, isn't it? But this time there is a contemporary twist, isn't there?
Yes, this time the Musketeers are no longer men, but women who disguise themselves as men to join the Musketeers. So let's have a look.
On peut rattraper la reine avant les mercenaires. Une pour toutes. Et toutes pour une. Imagine. Le monde est à toi. Tout t'appartient. On n'a pas assez de fuir. Dites pardon.
Pardon.
So with this major twist, the director, Houda Benyamina, transforms this well-known story into a tale of female empowerment and brings in others 21st century struggles, such as racism and determinism, to embody these new versions of D'Artagnan, Athos, Porthos, Aramis. She calls on two of her favorite actresses, Oulaya Amamra and Deborah Lukumwena, who had already worked with her in the film that put her on the map, Divine.
OK, well, and what does this feminisation of the story bring then?
So in 2016, with Divine, Houda Benyamina was awarded the Caméra d'Or in Cannes for the best first film among many other contenders. And it's fair to say that with this new adaptation of The Three Musketeers, the director has not lost her frankness, her bluntness, her sometimes a bit vulgar language, which is quite refreshing, to be honest. And in the first hour, the first half hour of the movie, they have fun moving the lines and rethinking Alexandre Dumas' work. But after that, really, it catches up with the original tale and it lacks originality and power. So to answer the question, about the feminization and what it brings to the story, I would say not so much, unfortunately.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
OK, right. Well, still worth a watch, nonetheless.
Worth the watch, yeah, definitely.
Okay. Well, French filmmakers are clearly being inspired by the writer Alexandre Dumas. There also seems to be finding inspiration in the Jura region in the east of France. We recently had the film called Holy Cow. It's a coming-of-age tale a little bit about cheese making. Now the French favourite Franck Dubosc is also taking us to the Jura with his new comedy, How to Make a Killing. Tell us about that.
Yeah, grand minds think alike, since the Jura seems to be a source of inspiration for good French film. So it's hard to sum up How to Make a Killing, but I would say it's about a bear. It's about the snowy mountain of the Jura at Christmas time. It's about a fatal accident and a lot of money. But I think the best thing to do is to show you some images. So let's have a look.
Oh là là. C'est beaucoup.
C'est combien?
Beaucoup. Cathy Michel, la lue du 21. Est-ce que vous avez entendu ou vu des choses qui vous paraissaient anormales?
Anormal, c'est-à-dire?
2 hommes, une femme, du miel.
Oh là 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 là. Quand on dit l'argent ne fait pas le bonheur, on parle de quelle somme exactement?
2 millions. C'est une somme.
On va le cacher. On n'y touche pas.
Et les corps, qu'est-ce qu'on en fait?
On réfléchit, je te dis.
So if I understand correctly, Perrine, a couple decide to dispose of the bodies of two thugs to keep the money that they found in the trunk of their car. Is that right?
It's exactly right. So keeping the 2 million, just in case, not to have to worry about the future. What could go wrong? Huh? No. Easy. So, but as you can imagine, nothing goes according to plan. Franck Dubosc in this movie really surprises us because he's well known in France for being an actor and director of very well-intentioned comedies. And this time he brings us into this dark, humorous comedy, immoral comedy in the style of the Coen brothers, like a movie from like Fargo or Burn After Reading. And but according to him, the notion of dark comedy is not something he's really good at, if I might say. Let's listen to him.
I didn't plan to make a black comedy because if someone asked me what's the definition of a black comedy, I wouldn't know the answer. So I didn't set out to make one, but I did want to write a feature film. I said to myself, I want to go further, to be daring in the humor and romance and violence, everything. I wanted to push the boundaries a bit. I didn't put limits on myself. I didn't focus on appealing to anyone. The important thing was that I made a film that appealed to me.
And around him, he brings together some of the great names of French comedies, such as Laure Calamy, who is very popular, and she was discovered in the series Call My Agent, and the hilarious Benoît Poulvord. At the end, How to Make a Killing is a funny, unexpected and clever movie all in the same time.
OK, well, it certainly sounds interesting, and it's certainly an interesting moral question. If you found €2 million in
what
the
would you
boot
do? What
of
would
someone's
you do?
car, what would you do? That is the question. OK, well, next, another film, another country. This time, you're taking us to South Korea with Winter in Sokcho by the Franco-Japanese director Koya Kimura.
Yeah, and you might wonder why, in a show about French cinema and French culture, I'm taking you so far away in Korea. And yet, that's the journey of Roche Dizem in this very sweet film that looks at France from afar. So, in Winter in Sokcho, it is a story about Suha. She's a student working in a guest house, and she's meeting this French tourist, Yann Queyran, and he reminds her of her own father, who was also French. So let's have a look.
프랑스 가서 찾을 생각은 왜 안 했대? 그 프랑스인 때문이지. 왜 이제 와서 자꾸 지난 일을 들쑤셔?
Je suis juste un touriste, un client comme les autres. Rien de plus.
Vous ne trouvez pas triste de croire qu'on peut retrouver quelqu'un comme ça après tant d'années?
Il n'y a rien de triste à espérer ou à attendre.
I personally love Roche Dizem, I have to say. He plays the role of a French writer on a trip to South Korea. And he actually is one of the most popular actors in France right now, isn't he?
Yeah, exactly. He's one of the most proactive actors in France right now, appearing in almost 2 or 3 movies per year since 10 years now. And actually, it's a wide range of films that shows his talent because, for example, he was in the thriller Undercover, in the comedy The Innocent, or the drama Other People's Children, so wide range of acting. And he also can brag. Yeah, really. Roche Dizem can brag about having an acting award from the Cannes Film Festival, but also a César, which is the French equivalent of the Oscars.
Okay.
So,
yeah, very charismatic actor, worth discovering if you don't know him. Well, we're off to sea now with a story about an American sailor, a French kid in 1950s France, and the never-ending construction of a boat. It's an animated film called A Boat in the Garden. Tell us more, Perrine.
So let me take you into the childhood of François. We are in the post-World War II era, on the banks of the Marne, near Paris. Little François is 11 years old when his father decides to start building a boat in their garden. But not just any boat, a replica of Joshua Slocum's boat. And Joshua Slocum was the great American sailor who was the first to sail solo around the world in the 19th century. Not have a look because it's at the end. I'm sorry.
Well, it is a very timely film at the Vendée Globe yacht race has just come to an end, as we've seen on France 24. We've been following it. It's also worth noting that A Boat in the Garden is directed by a great name in animation, Jean-François You're going to have to pronounce it for me, I'm
La
afraid.
Guillaume.
La Guillaume.
Yes.
Jean-Francois La Guillaume, thank you.
Yeah, not an easy name to pronounce, but a great name, because at 85 years old, the man has already won a César for Best Animated Film, a Palme d'Or for a short film, and many, many other awards. It's one of the greatest names in animation, to be honest. And in this movie, A Boat in the Garden, he tells the story of his own childhood, with some little white lies, of course. But above all, the beauty of the film lies in two main things. Firstly, the 2D animation, which is absolutely gorgeous. It's beautiful. It looks like a watercolor painting, absolutely gorgeous. And secondly, it's a wonderful ode to what we all are. Des pas finis, as the director puts it. To translate it in English, he would say we are unfinished.
Okay.
Unfinished, just like all those projects we started and then dropped. We all do that. But all those projects that we started and dropped, they all never fail to make us happy and filled with enthusiasm. So that's beautiful to tell.
Okay.
Just try things.
Well, thank you so much. A Boat in the Garden. And Perrine, thank you so much for sharing your French picks over the weeks of the moment with us. We're going to leave you now with a look at A Boat in the Garden. Thanks for watching. See you next time.
Slocum!
Slocum? Pourquoi on l'appelle comme ça?
Ce n'était pas n'importe quel bateau que mon père était en train de construire. C'était celui de Slocum. Avec ce bateau, Slocum avait fait le premier tour du monde à la voile, en solitaire.
Maintenant, plus à gauche. Oui, à droite pour toi, évidemment. Quelle empotée.
Quand ils étaient jeunes, ton père rêvait déjà d'un voilier. Peut-être même aussi de faire le tour du monde.
The 2004 tsunami that decimated Banda Aceh had unexpected consequences.
All the other buildings were destroyed. Only the mosque survived.
The tsunami kick-started the peace process. The Indonesian government focused its energy on rebuilding.
Humanitarian aid and international presence brought peace, but for many, the disaster was a divine retribution.
To all residents of Banda Aceh, we request you to cease all business activity when the call to prayer is made.
Today, the entire province is under Sharia law.
If you're caught with a member of the opposite sex that you don't have family ties with, it's 10 lashes or 10 months in prison.
Watch Banda Aceh Revisited on France 24 and France24.com.